Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. I'm High Lord Tamerlane, and this in front of me is the last, or at least for the moment, of the new Malifaux 3rd edition core boxes. We've got Burning Bridges Wildfire. So this is the Elijah Borgmann crew with the Fire Golem and the Fire Branded. So I believe everybody in this is basically a new sculpt, but I swear that the Fire Golem was released in a story encounter pack. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks awfully familiar. Maybe it's one of the few that I don't own. Popping it all open, let's take a look at what we got inside. Well, we've got the new standardized size cards for Malifaux, which I'm hoping we'll get to use one of these days. We have bases. We've got 4 30mm and a 50mm base. And quite a lot of sprue here. So the big showboating guy here is the Fire Golem, obviously. A lot of parts there. I have no idea how that's going to go together, but we're going to give it a shot. If you'd like, well, I'm thinking, you know what, I will try going step by step maybe if we build him. And then we have... here's Elijah, I believe. And then the Fire Branded down here. So I will go step by step. We'll put all the parts out on display so you guys can see what to do. And you can let me become incredibly frustrated trying to build this sucker. Maybe I'll look online. Maybe I'll cheat and actually look at those directions. But I figure I've built so many complex models with so many tiny little parts. I should be able to handle this. Fingers crossed. Why don't we start with the Fire Golem and get him out of the way. So here we have all the pieces now laid out for Elijah. We've got quite a few you need to be careful getting off that sprue. The torch especially, very thin, and the guard on his sword is ridiculously thin as well as the hilt. So please be careful trying to clip those off because they can break easily. I mean, just look at the hilt on that sword. It's so thin. Anyway, we've got his head, which I probably can't really get in focus here. You can kind of sort of see it if my fingers weren't in the way there with his little twirly twirl of his front hair there. Torso, legs, gear, and cape or cloak or whatever it is. So he looks pretty straightforward. Doesn't look very complicated, especially after building that stupid Fire Golem. Hopefully this goes a lot smoother, and then we'll take a look at the Fire Branded. So we have all the parts laid out here for the Fire Golem, and it looks pretty intimidating because everything was just kind of crazy on the sprue, but I've kind of figured it out, and I didn't even have to bother looking online, so I figured if you're watching this, this might help. The first thing you want to do is probably separate all the leg pieces. They have this kind of Z shape to them, and then all the parts fit really flush, so you shouldn't have any issues having to jam and smush pieces in there. So you have 3 for each leg, and then you have the 3 faces that are going to attach to the front here. So these are going to get glued together, and then you're going to glue all of that on to the torso. Now, I had a tough time figuring out which was the front, and I'm like jamming and playing with it, and nothing's fitting. That's because it's the back. When you fit it to the front, it should fit nice, smooth, and you'll hear an audible click. And then this is going to go right... no, this isn't the one. That's for the shoulder. All right, or somewhere. We'll get to that. So the arms have 3 basic... no, 2 basic, 3 basic, at least 2 basic parts. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those, glue these, and then these 2 are going to go in the back, but we're going to finish up the front here first. So let's put all those parts together and go from there. So our part layout is a little bit easier to manage now. We've got our legs together, our arms together, and then this is going to slot in right here on the chest. And then for the back, we have this long piece is going to cover up the space on the top of the head, like so. Eventually, we will fit it where it needs to go, and it does go there. Trust me on this one. No. Really? I know it goes here because I've been playing with this, trying to make sure, and naturally, as soon as I start filming, it doesn't want to work. Anyway, okay, this flame is going to attach on the back as well, like this. Kind of lodges in, and then this one's going to, if it'll cooperate, I swear to God it goes there. You can see the indentations. There. I'm going to hold it in place just to show you guys. And then this is going to slot in right here. Not that it's cooperating here. And we'll grab that torso piece and just kind of jam it in. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe I should have put this in first. Yes. Do as I say, not as I do. So put this part in first here on the torso. Should just slide in right underneath. And then see, then you can just click that in, and then we can just slide. If I can pick up the pieces, slide that in like that. There we go. I was in the wrong area. I was in the right vicinity, not the right spot. And then there. Okay. So it's all going to click together like that. And you shouldn't have too many seams showing through at that point. So we're going to do that next. And then we're going to attach. You know, I might as well, while we're at it, you can go ahead and get those legs attached. I need to clean the connection points off a little bit better there. You can see there that crud is going to block it from gluing in place. There's nothing really special or fancy it looks like we have to do here. The legs slot pretty easily in. And then we're going to have to figure out what goes up the butt there. I'm pretty sure this fire piece does. Cover up the butt. So I'm going to play with that and we'll see how that's looking there. Well, our model's upright at least, so the next step is let's get the arms attached, and then we just have the last few little detail pieces here, and we've actually managed to build the fire golem without all the swearing and cursing that the Goryo, for example, involved. So let's get those arms attached. So we're almost done here, almost finished. So let's go over the last few parts. These curly bending iron gate kind of brazier parts, they attach right there to the arm. We have a two-pronged flame that is going to attach at the back. That's right. That one goes right here on his back. We have a 1, 2, 3-prong one that's going to go up here on his arm. And finally, like I said, this piece here is going to make his butt flames. And they're just going to lodge in right there. And that's it. You've got all the parts attached to the fire golem, and it was a lot easier than I had expected. So let's finish him up. And there you have it. A finished fire golem. Let's move on to Elijah. And we got Elijah all done here. Only real issues I had were trying to figure out what glued on where. So he's got this weird, I don't know, what is it, a lock or a clasp or a mechanism of some sort on this spellbook thingy pouch on his right hip, and then the actual spellbook attaches. There's a little connection point right here by these two straps. So otherwise it's pretty straightforward. I did use too much glue, but that's always the case with High Lord Tamberlane building a model. Yeah, we'll figure out how he glues on. So comparing him with our fire golem, who doesn't really even fit in the shot there, you can see it's quite the big model. Elijah's not a slouch in the size department either, but I think he just needs to get glued down. I'm not going to glue him on the base yet just because I want to get under that cloak of his when it comes time to glue. Not glue, paint. All right, next up are the fire branded. So here's the first of the fire branded, and fire branded number 1 is actually probably the most complicated of the three. She comes in at 11 parts. We have a 2-part cape here that's going to attach together. We have her cloaked head, the front of the cloak that attaches all of this, the 2 halves of the torso, the legs that go on there, the arms, and then this random piece of flame that I'm pretty sure attaches to the back of her neck in the cloak area. I'm not 100% sure there, but once we've got her built, I can go over that with you. But the rest seem pretty straightforward. As always with the case when cutting these parts out, especially these flames, some of the tips of them can be quite tiny, so do exercise caution and try not to snap any pieces apart. And let's get to gluing. So the first fire branded is, I'm hoping, complete. So figured out that you actually need to attach the cloak. This front part attaches to the back, like I said, and then you put the head, and then the arms just kind of slot in there, and we're all good, except I think I still have another piece of flame. I do. I have absolutely no idea where it goes. Probably I should go check online. I'll check online, because I'm guessing it goes somewhere in this vicinity of the head or the arms. But that's enough of the first one. Let's move on to the next one, who's in a lot more static pose and should be a lot easier to put together. And here are the parts to the second fire-branded: feet, thighs and waist, chest, arms, head, and then a freakishly long overcoat that actually has a little connecting slot, so you can just put the glue there, and then everything just kind of builds on top of that. This seems freakishly large. I don't know why. Like, I just feel like, I guess he's regular size. Maybe he's just a little bit taller, but I don't know. It feels really big. Anyway, we'll put them together, and then the last of the firebrands will be up, and it's actually the easiest one too. Let's get this guy built first. Like I said, our third firebranded is going to be probably the easiest. We have the cloak, legs, 2 arms, 1 arm is 2 pieces, and then the torso. That's it. Really simple. So let's grab the glue, put it together, and we'll be done with our posse. Crew box. Wrong game. And with that, we've got the last of our firebranded done, and I lost the base to this one in the meantime. So we've got the crew all together. I want to take a quick look at her. So she just was kind of an odd build considering how simple she is. I don't like her pose. Her hand's kind of weird down here, and this one feels really long. I know the flame doesn't help, but maybe it's just the angle and how she's got her arm bent out. It just looks weird to me. Maybe I did it, maybe it's the model. Maybe I just caused a chain reaction of everybody falling over. I thought these models felt freakishly large, but then when I started grabbing other Malifaux stuff to compare them to, they really kind of fit right in, which was surprising. I guess it's just me. I was like, oh my god, these are so freaking huge. But I mean, I guess really they're not. I mean, obviously the fire golem is, but I don't know. I just felt that they seem bigger than they really are, but in the end they're not. Bizarre how that works. Of course, if I grab like a Frostgrave, and he's like barely up to, you know, his waist. But speaking of Frostgrave, I think this kit, out of all of the 3rd edition crew boxes that have been released so far, probably you can get the most cross-compatibility usage out of. I mean, these guys are just, you can use them as mages or superheroes or, you know, villains lit on fire. I don't know. Yeah, you can probably get a lot of use out of those guys. Big monster like that, absolutely. Elijah here, I mean, he looks like a generic wandering hero, adventurer, level 3 warrior type character for a D&D campaign. It's a pretty generic pose considering what some of the other Malifaux masters are like. Then again, I don't even think Elijah is a master. Isn't he like an enforcer or something? So that kind of throws that out the window too. But, you know, he is what he is. He's also not on fire like these guys. I mean, these are just bad dudes. Make him as evil cultists or something. And this guy's just so ripped anyways. Look at the muscles on him. He's just like, what's up, bro? Anyway. So, interesting little crew box. I think there's a lot of usage for other games as well. And surprisingly, it's probably the least expensive of the ones that I've encountered so far. So, and you get a big fire golem. And I'm right, aren't I? That it was in a backdraft set, wasn't it? It was with the Arcanists and the Gremlins, because it had the whiskey golem. No, something. I don't know. I'm rambling. Okay, time to wrap this up. In case you've forgotten, this is Obscurities and Miniatures, and I am High Lord Tamerlane, and now I am saying farewell. See you guys later.